On August 14th, Atlus invited me to a Metaphor ReFantazio preview event in NYC. We got to meet some of the developers and, of course, be hands-on with Metaphor ReFantazio for 2.5 hours. Here, I was playing the game, taking some notes to relate to all of you. Before I let you in on the juicy details, be sure to subscribe and comment if you learned something new from this video, because honestly, I've only seen 2 trailers of this game. The first one and the one they showed at a preview event, and by this time, you guys would have seen it too. I'm one of those people, if I see one trailer, I'm into it. I don't need to see more trailers. I'm good. I'm locked in. I'm here for it, baby. I went to New York for this game. So I don't want to talk too much about the opening. That's something to be experienced, but rather the world and the theming. They said in the beginning of the event that the theme was anxiety, and I don't know if I got that so much. To me, there was a much stronger focus on discrimination, tribalism, foreign relations, and that sort of thing, as you'll be meeting many tribes. And I also highly recommend you take a moment to read up on them for some extra flavor, to really get an understanding of the world. There's a lot of information explicitly mentioned in the glossary, so if you're a curious mind and looking to maximize your understanding of this fantasy realm, definitely don't overlook that. And in the start of most games, there is a lot of information to grasp. Thankfully, there's a chat log you can reference and repeat dialogue, and auto-scrolling is also a feature. The game goes really hard in the discrimination aspect. You get a very good idea of who's top dog and who's not. In a world of 8 tribes within 3 nations, there's bound to be a lot of hatred and conflict. I think they did a great job setting the stage, and to counteract all this hate, we have the MC, who wants to bring about a world that he's read in a fantasy book, which is about a world with 1 tribe. And I love this. We can draw a lot of parallels between this and our world. I think we all can relate to wishing for a world free of xenophobia, othering, discrimination, etc. However, it's just that, depressing as it is, it's a fantasy, which seems to be another theme the game is creeping in. At the very beginning, there is some fourth wall breaking, some noted separation between the real world and the fantasy world, because you're asked your name, not naming the MC, you. And you're asked strange questions of fantasy and reality, and believing if they overlap. And yeah, of course, once upon a time, humans taking flight was just a fantasy, and look at us now. And the MC is really attached to this fantasy book that seems to reflect our world. And if you think about it, looking at Metaphor, it's clearly a fantasy world to us. If people of Metaphor's world look back at us, they'd see fantasy. Crafts that can fly, devices that can communicate from across the world or snap a moment in time. The main course, the combat, I could not be more pleased. It's Persona and SMT with a fantasy twist to it. I am so impressed how Metaphor beautifully blends action and turn-based combat. You sneak up behind the enemy and wail on them until you get their stun gauge to break. From there, you initiate a squad battle, which brings us to the traditional turn-based combat, which is akin to SMT. Firstly, attacking from behind grants you extra damage to all enemies. And even if you don't kill them all in that round, sometimes they'll remain stunned so you can attack again. You strike a weakness or crit, it takes half an action. You get as many actions as you do party members, although if you miss or hit enemy strengths, you lose turns. So SMT vets, we know what's up. Another feature more games need to implement, and this is becoming my favorite feature in JRPGs, is instantly killing weak enemies, and still getting experience and items from it. This is a great honor to the player's time, and if you're ever in doubt on what you are or are not on par with, you can always scan enemies. Don't be like me and test this with your sword, you'll die, but thankfully the game is pretty forgiving.
I'm sorry, everyone.
This isn't happening.
A minor difference in battle from SMT are formations. People in the front are targeted more, in the back people take less damage, just a little extra mechanic to give you an edge. So guys, I was scared. At first, I thought we regressed to OG Persona 3, where you couldn't control party members. I managed to get a few, and I noticed I couldn't select their actions, but it isn't until their respective awakenings they become playable. They awaken to archetypes. Think of it as a spirit of heroic virtues. And here's where the persona really kicks in. You get these by forming new bonds with followers from all walks of life. With a new bond comes a new persona or archetype. This archetype levels up and naturally gains new abilities, but also gains them by strengthening the bonds with your followers, which is akin to social links. This game has its very own Velvet Room, with more who you work with to strengthen your archetypes.
So, what would you say to an alliance?
Another Persona aspect is time management. I didn't dabble with this a lot, but noticing what day it is and days pass, so maybe there will be some time-sensitive goodies to look forward to. Wrapping it up with the art, it speaks for itself. It's fantastic. I actually really appreciate this art direction. The Renaissance, baby! Even referencing real works like Leonardo da Vinci, the Vitruvian Man. The bonds, some of the loading screens work really well with Atlus's signature animation style. It's a beautiful blend of new and old. I'm also getting some Catherine energy from these bosses. Something else I'm super grateful for Atlus not doing is Persona 5ing this game. It shows there's still creativity yet. Character portraits still convey an Atlus style, but with more realism? Atlus managed to blend anime and Renaissance together perfectly. This is a style I didn't know I needed. In a world where games can often look samey, it's hard to stand out not only against competitors, but against yourself. Another big and bold move by Atlus is no demons. So with a broken heart, I must report, we won't see our boy Mara. So the composer for Metaphor is Shoji Meguro. And remember, this is the musician of Persona 3, 4, and 5, and the versatility of this man. Mainly the battle themes, regular battle themes, honestly reminded me of a boss battle theme. And it's unlike any Persona game, or SMT for that matter. The producer said opera, and Meguro-san was like, bet. It's so different from the rock, pop, jazz that we're all used to from him, and we get this orchestral, epic, grand sounding. It's the skillfulness for me. Now, you're probably wondering what about the other songs? It was difficult to hear. I don't know why the volume was so low. We had headsets on. Like, if someone spoke out loud, you absolutely could hear them. So it's really hard for me to speak on town themes or dungeon themes. But considering the battle theme is something we'll be hearing the most of, knowing that's good, I believe we're in good hands. Meguro Domus.
I don't like this. Let's see.
This place here.
Let's go see.
Alas, Metaphor ReFantazio does a great job setting up the tone and really creating a solid foundation for its tense atmosphere. And the gameplay feels right at home. If you love Persona, if you love SMT, you love both, the combat will be quick and easy to grasp. I am really proud this game isn't a Persona write-off. I think the team did a marvelous job pulling the best from Persona and SMT while giving it its own identity. I truly wish for the best of Metaphor ReFantazio and know this game has a supporter in me. I am invested. It was a little frustrating, only being able to play an RPG for 2.5 hours, but that was the point, right? You get a little taste and leaves you wanting more, because one of its strengths is its gripping atmosphere. I didn't get to experience all the 8 tribes, or their fantasy versus our reality versus their fantasy, or how monsters are way more than what they seem. They scattered so many crumbs, and I cannot wait to follow the trail. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. I've done reviews on SMT 4, 4A, 5, 5V, Persona 3 Portable, Reload, Persona 4 Golden, Persona 5, take your pick. We love Atlus in this house. So once again, thank you all for watching, and until next time, mwah!